Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about The Monkey. This was written and directed by Osgood Perkins. It seems that Perkins has had quite the busy year this past year with the release of Long Legs. That film got a lot of attention, mainly because of its very effective sort of advertising campaign. It was the kind of campaign that sort of advertised this as like the new scariest movie ever kind of deal. Perhaps so much so that at the end of the day, when the final product came around, it was a little underwhelming. Certainly in Long Legs, Osgood Perkins has sort of mastered his sort of visual language. And that's really where the film finds its most success, is in the atmosphere, is in the tone, is in, again, the visuals, the colors. Because its story and its performances did, unfortunately, leave a lot to be desired for me. I found Nick Cage to be very miscast. I found Micah Monroe to not really pulling as much weight as she should be as someone who's so central, whose perspective is so central in the story. And I just don't think the narrative built out into anything cohesive or engaging. But now we've come to The Monkey, and The Monkey tonally could not be further from Long Legs. Long Legs had this sort of like quiet, like really meditative, like kind of Silence of the Lambs type of seriousness to it. And this film is not that. It's very snarky from beginning to end. Lots of dark comedy here. And again, unfortunately, I feel that Osgood Perkins has gotten lost in the mood and the atmosphere in order to forego a compelling narrative, a compelling story, and compelling themes even. It seems like Osgood Perkins wanted to make a film about facing your generational trauma and processing that and reconnecting with your family in a way that's fulfilling for both of you. And there is lots to admire here for sure, but I just don't think it all quite comes together into something that's very groundbreaking or even that cohesive. And, a lot of the visual gags, these death scenes, feel very, very inspired by like a Final Destination type, where the deaths are very explosive, they're very ridiculous, they get increasingly more absurd as the film goes on, and it's definitely very admirable, again, just the dedication to that bit, but again, it feels in service of a sort of nothing story. I never felt like Osgood Perkins really had his thesis built for what he wanted to explore with this family, and it just kind of cheapens all of the sort of bombastic, kind of bloody gore fest that we see before us. And I think Osgood Perkins is a really interesting guy and has a really interesting story in terms of his own family. I mean, his father obviously was the great Anthony Perkins, one of the great actors maybe my favorite actor of all time. I have this weird copy of The Trial, Orson Welles' The Trial, one of the great performances of all time, one of the great films of all time. And, obviously Anthony Perkins was a closeted gay man, and he died of AIDS in the 80s, along with so many other people. And then his mother was in one of the planes during the September 11th attacks, which is just like, again, there's a sort of absurdity to that I think lends itself well to this kind of story. I just don't think that Osgood Perkins was really ready to unpack all that. And again, it's a shame just because I think he has a lot of potential. I think he has a lot of talent. And I am excited to see what he does next just because he's such an intriguing figure. But as it stands, just the work that I've seen from him, I've not been ultimately too impressed by. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.